If you've ever tried to move on from the avoidant and it took a very long time, honestly, you are not crazy and you are not weak. Sometimes the relationship wasn't even that long, and sometimes it was inconsistent, confusing, or never fully defined. And yet, months later, they are still in your head. So in this video, I just want to talk about why your nervous system stays attached long after the connection ended, and why avoidant relationships are often harder to get over than ones that ended clearly. Before I start, very quickly, I want to invite you to a free community that I'm building. It's called Secure Connection Club, and the link is in the description. If you are trying to become more secure, this is the place to be. You can connect with others who are on the same journey, and you can get access to some free resources like my ebooks or journaling prompts. As of right now, there are only 7 people, but with time there will be more of us and there will be more resources inside. So if you want to be a part of it, join the community today, the link is in the description. First of all, it's all about the inconsistency. Avoidant relationships are very rarely all bad. In fact, there are some good moments too. You get all of the warmth, the closeness, the emotional depth, and then distance, silence, or pulling away. And that pattern just keeps your nervous system alert. And your brain doesn't really know when the next good moment will come, so it just stays focused. And focus over time just turns into attachment. What's more, with avoidance, closeness very often feels like something you have to work for. When they finally open up, when they finally respond warmly or show some kind of effort, it feels meaningful, right? Almost like proof that the connection is real. Imagine that your avoidant is pulling away and they are not texting you as much for 2 or 3 weeks. Then suddenly they text you and they are super warm. You kind of feel like you deserve that text after all of that silence and patience. That makes those moments feel more valuable, and when something feels earned, it's much harder to let go than something that was freely available. Also, many avoidant connections don't end with a clean breakup, right? Instead, they just fade. Conversations slow down, plans stop happening, distance increases, but nothing really is clearly said. That lack of closure keeps your mind looping. You are not grieving something that ended, you are just stuck trying to understand something that never fully finished. Of course, every relationship is different, but most of the time with avoidance, all of this stuff just kind of fades and they just disappear, and you just hear from them less and less, and it naturally just dies. And avoidants often show you glimpses of who they could be in that specific relationship. You've seen their good side, right? You've seen their warmth, the depth, and their ability to connect. It's just not consistent. So when it all ends, you are not just letting go of who they were. You are letting go of the version of them that you built in your head and that you hoped they would become in the future. And that loss is very difficult to accept. And try to remember the last time when they just disappeared or pulled away. When they came back, it felt like relief. And with avoidant relationships, it's almost like you are constantly chasing that feeling of relief. So most likely your body learned that if you waited long enough or just tried hard enough, the connection might return and the anxiety would finally stop. Because think about it, you are used to them just pulling away and coming back and pulling away and coming back, and that cycle repeats all of the time, right? So even when the relationship is over, your body is trained, right? You just kind of hope that they will come back in the end. And of course, in these kind of relationships, very often you don't get any feedback. You just keep wondering what you did wrong. You replay conversations. You wonder if you are too much, too emotional, or too available. That self-questioning keeps you emotionally tight. Clarity would help you detach, but clarity was never offered. And it's tough to actually hear that, but I'm gonna say it honestly. Confusion creates attachment. People don't want to hear it, but honestly, confusion bonds people. When something doesn't make sense, your brain keeps trying to solve it. And the longer you try to solve it, the more attached you feel, right? That's why avoidants are so hard to get over. Not because they were perfect, but because the story never really resolved. And very often online you see the advice that no contact is going to bring the avoidant back. And sometimes it's true, because after you give them distance and you just stop reaching out to them, they just naturally come back because they want to see if they can still influence you. But from your perspective, the distance just removes the person, but not the meaning that you attach to them. So getting over an avoidant usually requires emotional clarity, just understanding the pattern, not just physical separation. If you want to detach, you need to stop asking, why wasn't I enough? And you need to start asking, why did this dynamic keep me anxious? Because when you understand that your attachment came from inconsistency and uncertainty, something changes. You just start realizing that the entire connection wasn't even that deep, and two of you are not even compatible. You can still like the person and care about that person, but you just realize that maybe they weren't the best fit for your specific attachment style. And once you see the pattern clearly, the relationship starts to look a little bit different, because what felt like chemistry often reveals itself as activation. What felt like depth often came with instability, and what felt like connection was often just intensity. The main takeaway from this video I want you to get is that avoidants are difficult to get over because they leave unfinished emotional business behind. But closure doesn't come from them reaching out, apologizing to you, or explaining themselves, okay? It comes from you understanding what actually happened and choosing not to recreate it again. I believe that surviving the relationship with the avoidant is actually the best thing that can happen for your secure attachment, because now you just realize what you deserve, and you just realize that being loved by someone should look completely different. If this quick video helped you put words into something that you've been carrying, you are welcome to stay. I want to invite you to the free community that I created. You can connect with others, you can share your story, and you can just keep on trying to become more secure. It's a process, but it's definitely possible. So thanks for watching this video, and of course, if you want to watch more videos about being more secure, about healing, and all of the attachment styles, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Hopefully, I will see you in the next video. See you next time.